Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Zenande and this is a car review of my first car. Okay, so I've owned this car for 20 months. Someone asked me if I regret buying it, and so that's why we're here. So this is a Suzuki Baleno GL automatic. So it makes sense that the first thing that we talk about is safety. Those who know me will tell you that whenever a person is asking for a lift from me, I tell them that this car has 2 airbags up a front, and so you only come into my car, you only get a lift from me if you have a comprehensive medical aid and funeral cover, and if you have kids you better have a life cover. Okay, this is very important because this car has 2 airbags, but the other version, I think it's GLX, has 6 airbags, so it depends on what is important to you. I bought this car for 250,000, and at that time a GLX, which is the high end of this car, was going for 315. So I was like, I'd rather keep my money, and I hardly drive anyone in this car, so it didn't make sense that I prioritize safety like that, especially considering moving from a 252 to a 315,000 rands. I have driven to and from the Eastern Cape with this car 3 times, and traveling from here to the Eastern Cape at my house, or my parents' house, is over 1,000 kilometers. And so again, safety becomes really important. And one of the things that you need to understand, also even on that, so with this car I've driven 21,300 kilometers from when I bought it until now. Okay, so safety becomes important because when you are driving long distance, there's many other cars, especially when you're driving using the Free State routes. There's so many vans there that are driving at a very high speed. And so the downside of this car is that it lags. And so this is important to consider when you are trying to overtake someone, especially in that Joburg to Free State route, because there's so many vans that are driving at a very high speed. And so it becomes really important that you plan properly before you overtake, otherwise you might cause a car accident. The second thing that I need to talk about is legroom. Okay, so when you are in the driver's seat, you can move the car forward or backwards, right? However, you can't move it up. So if you are short, it'll be difficult for you to drive. If you are very short, it'll be difficult for you to drive this car. Otherwise, you might have to or sit on top of a pillow or something, because you can't move it up. You can only move it forward and backwards. Okay, and I'm tall. I consider myself to be tall. I'm taller than most South Africans. So you can see that there's enough space for a tall person. When it comes to infotainment system, in this car you can play music or look at a map or GPS using both CarPlay, I think it's CarPlay or Apple Play, or Android Auto. I've never owned an iPhone, so I use Android. Apparently in this car there's cruise control. I tried to use it, but it never worked for me. I prefer to be the one controlling the car. Okay, so cruise control for those who like it. I think the downside of this car is that when you are driving, it can get really noisy, but I mean you can solve that by just listening to music, especially when you're driving at a high speed, like when you're driving over 100 kilometers, maybe you're traveling to or maybe you're driving a long distance trip. It can get really noisy, but again, this is just the price that you pay, because remember I paid 252 for this car, so it's something that I just have to get used to. A lot of people love this car for fuel efficiency. Personally, I haven't experienced it because I'm currently driving 100 kilometers using 7 liters of petrol. However, according to the specs of the car, apparently you're supposed to drive 100 kilometers with 5.4 liters of petrol. I haven't experienced it. I'm yet to experience it, but again, it could be speaking to my driving. Now let's go to boot space. The boot of this car is 314 liters. I usually travel with 2 suitcases, but there's always room for more. The one thing that I will tell you I'm not a huge fan of, it is the plastic interior. Guys, literally, it is plastic. It shows, it's giving cheap, but I mean, I can't even complain about that because the car is cheap. But the material, the interior, is just plastic. Like proper plastic. It is cheap. So if that's a problem for you, maybe you should look for other cars. Maybe check Suzuki France as well. Maybe it's a little different. But I promise you the interior is giving cheap. This car comes with a spare tire, but it's one of those very small ones. We call it a biscuit. It's one of those that have yellow rims. Okay, so you can travel for this. I mean, this is a tire that you use when you are maybe in an emergency and you have to drive to the next stop where you're going to buy a tire. The tires I'm currently using are the tires that came with this car last year, March. Now, lastly on the car, I just want you guys to hear the music, the sound of the music on this car. Okay, this is one of my favorite songs. Listen. Now let's talk insurance, guys. So the first thing that you need to understand is that you cannot take the car out of the dealership without having a comprehensive insurance, especially when the car is funded by a bank. Okay, so before you can go collect your car, it needs to be insured. There needs to be proof from an insurer that your car is insured. And that was probably the most tedious process in my journey to buy a car. Okay. So one of the mistakes that I made was thinking that just because you've had a car license or driving license for a long time, it means that your insurance premiums are going to be low. No, they need proof that you've been insured before. And so if you have a sibling, a parent or a friend that has a car and they are willing to do this, please ask them to sign you up as a second driver in their car, and that helps reduce your premiums because it shows that you've been insured before. There's some sort of record that you are a responsible driver. Okay, listen here. The first quotes that I got, the first insurance premium quotes that I got, like what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Okay, so eventually I got a quote. I accepted a quote with one of the big insurers in South Africa for 1,700 per month with an excess of 6,000, and that's a lot, considering that I bought this car for 252. 12 months into owning the car, they sent me a message. They sent me an email saying, "Hi, due to the increase in the cost of repairs of cars, we've increased the premium to." I think it was 1,900. And I'm like, first of all, the value of this car is decreasing. What do you mean you're increasing the premium? And so I left and I got another insurance. And this specific insurance is one of those that tell you that, listen, we track how you drive, and based on your behavior, we're going to reward you for driving well. First of all, sometimes that thing was inaccurate. Okay. And I was losing points left, right, and center. I had to do a cost benefit analysis, and I was like, there's absolutely no way. No. My camera is giving me issues. I don't even know where I was. The point is, guys, insurance. So maybe do more research on insurance before getting too excited about getting or collecting your car, because your car cannot leave the car dealership without insurance, comprehensive insurance, especially when the car is funded by a bank or you finance the car through a bank. Okay, now guys, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. If you've watched until this point, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm currently on 4,400, so we can do this. 600 subscribers before the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. It's going to be a vlog. Okay, let's go. But